Now at 5, an area car dealership begins accepting cryptocurrency as payment. Plus, how a Southeast Kansas church is making sure congregants in a hurry can recognize Ash Wednesday. And the Biden administration unveils its new coronavirus response strategy.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A local car dealership is now accepting crypto as currency. This is KOAM News at 5. Max Motors in Nevada, in addition to their other 9 locations, has started to accept digital methods of payment, such as Bitcoin. Change comes as clients have expressed evolving needs. The dealership's general manager, Bob Jakoway, says they've always allowed customers to use alternative payment methods and that Bitcoin isn't much different.
Periodically, we have a lot of customers that will, trade grain for a car. They'll trade livestock. Things of value. We trade for boats, RVs, motorcycles, just all kinds of different things.
Max Motors says only a few companies in this region of the country accept cryptocurrency as payment. Today is Ash Wednesday, marking the beginning of Lent. Catholics everywhere observe the occasion by having a priest mark a cross on their foreheads in ash, usually during Mass. But not everyone has time to attend Mass, so St. John's Episcopal Church in Parsons, Kansas decided to offer ashes to go. Congregants could just drive up, receive a blessing, and go on their way.
Our motivation for being out here today is to reach the community, to let the people in the community know that it is Ash Wednesday, the importance of the day.
According to Christian faith, the ashes symbolize death and repentance because they believe Christ died for them. Doug Hetty, the night's weather continues.
Yeah, fantastic day for us today. Temperatures great, upper 70s to lower 80s in our western counties, so way up there, and we're going to continue to see the nice temperatures over the next couple days. Not a lot going on outside. We have a weak little cold front to our northeast that will slip in tomorrow, but besides that, we look pretty good. Look at our temperatures, mid 70s, lower 80s in our western counties, southeastern Kansas, and a little breezy. We got those south winds out there at about 5 to 15 miles per hour, gusts near 20, but that just helps us warm up a little bit more. Through the evening hours, we slip back through the 70s, 60s, 50s, back down into the mid 40s once again later on tonight. We will discuss thunderstorm chances by the weekend here in just a bit.
See you then. Russia and Ukraine both say they're ready to resume talks to end the war. But for now, nothing has been scheduled and the assault on Ukraine continues. At the United Nations in New York, the General Assembly approved a resolution demanding Russia withdraw from Ukraine. And President Biden had some tough words for Russia last night, vowing to make President Vladimir Putin pay a price for the invasion. The White House is unveiling President Biden's new coronavirus response strategy. It addresses a range of issues, including developing new vaccines, keeping schools and businesses open, and others if things get worse. Danya Bacchus reports.
2 years into the COVID-19 pandemic, the White House says it has a new plan to get Americans back to a more normal routine.
We are clearly going in the right direction.
The White House COVID-19 response team detailed President Biden's strategy to protect against and treat the virus in the months ahead, including access to testing and treatment in one stop.
Hundreds of one-stop sites will open across the country this month, located at local pharmacy clinics, community health centers, long-term care facilities, and veterans health centers.
The 96-page plan, which would require funding from Congress, describes how to avoid business and school shutdowns, battle the virus abroad, and prepare for new variants.
These expedited plans and processes will help us reach our goal that updated vaccines can be developed, approved, and manufactured in approximately 100 days.
With COVID cases and hospitalizations dropping nationwide, Los Angeles County is expected to drop its indoor mask mandate Friday, meaning businesses would no longer need to check vaccine cards.
It's about time they lift it. I'm going to continue to wear a mask for my safety.
In Philadelphia, masks are no longer required in most indoor settings, and New York State eliminated its mask mandate for public schools.
It's very exciting because we get to see each other's faces.
Face masks are still required on public transportation, including air travel. Officials plan to review the federal transportation mandate, which is set to expire March 18th. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Federal health officials also kick off a nationwide tour this Friday to address long-term effects of the pandemic, including mental health challenges. Still ahead, an expected interest rate increase.
As the country faces sky-high inflation, the Fed chief says an interest rate hike is coming. I'm Naomi Ruckham on Wall Street with reaction from the markets and what it means for the average American.
And next in Health Watch, researchers link burn pits used by the military to an increase in cancer and respiratory illnesses. Topping today's Health Watch, comedian Jon Stewart joined lawmakers to support military veterans exposed to burn pits on overseas bases. Those pits were used to incinerate hazardous material, and the toxic fumes have been linked to a spike in cancer and other illnesses. Reporter Michael George has the story.
When veteran Lauren Price got home from Iraq in 2008, her health was never the same. Once an avid runner, her lungs started to give out.
She would become winded walking down to the mailbox. She would become winded walking around the yard or walking the dog.
The 56-year-old died of cancer last year. Her husband, Jim, also a Navy veteran, says she was exposed to toxic fumes from the waste and trash burned at their base in Iraq.
No question in your mind this was connected to those burn pits.
Oh, without a doubt.
There's been an alarming rise in cancer and respiratory illnesses in veterans, and veterans groups say burn pits at overseas bases are to blame. Many of those suffering have to fight to get their illnesses recognized and claim benefits. A new bill called the Honoring Our Pact Act would provide health benefits to 3.5 million vets who were exposed to the pits.
We made a pact with these individuals, a pact I'm afraid to say we have not yet honored.
President Biden put the spotlight on the issue during his State of the Union address, recognizing Danielle Robinson, whose husband Heath, an Iraq vet, died from cancer.
I'm also calling on Congress to pass a law to make sure veterans devastated by toxic exposure in Iraq and Afghanistan finally get the benefits and the comprehensive health care they deserve.
Comedian and activist Jon Stewart says the health problems affecting veterans have become too big to ignore.
Last night, they were seen. The President of the United States saw their struggle.
The House is expected to vote on the bill Thursday. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
A new study indicates that breast cancers found in women using mammograms can be overdiagnosed. The study was published in the journal Annals of Internal Medicine. The researchers defined an overdiagnosis as a cancer spotted on a screening that wouldn't have caused any signs or symptoms in the patient's remaining lifetime. Experts say overdiagnosis can lead to unnecessary treatment and stress. The American Cancer Society still views screening mammography as an important tool when it's recommended. Women who begin menopause before age 40 are 35% more likely to develop dementia later in life. According to a new study from the University of Virginia, that is, researchers say women who enter menopause early can reduce their risk of dementia by exercising body and mind, taking vitamin D, and quitting smoking and drinking. Chinese researchers say a ketogenic diet is safe for people with multiple sclerosis and can actually improve their quality of life. Study participants who ate a diet of meat, fats, and non-starchy vegetables for 6 months reported less fatigue and depression. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, our pet vet on call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, I'm going to tell you how to pick out a good dog food for your dog.
Plus, a great temperature. Stick around, but we do have some thunderstorms on the forecast. We're going to look at that coming up. Another fantastic day for us today. Temperatures upper 70s, lower 80s across the region, which is really good for the beginning of March. We have plenty of sunshine out there, great shot, Indigo Sky, Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri, but looks pretty good. And we're going to see a pretty nice evening on tap for us. Temps still mid 70s in Missouri, Arkansas, mid to upper 70s once you get into northeastern Oklahoma, and then near 80 in southeastern Kansas, even lower 80s as we went through the afternoon hours for us today. A little breezy, southerly winds at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, but that just helps us warm up. Looks good. 7th and range line sitting at 75, southerly winds at about 13. The reason we warm up so much is that humidity. Look how low it is, 17%. So it really allows those temperatures to really fluctuate, and we're going to see that again as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Quick drop through the 70s, 60s, 50s, mid 40s for overnight lows by the time we head into tomorrow morning. We look good. Nothing's going on outside. Really, most of the central plains look pretty good. We do have a weak little cold front up across the northeastern parts of Missouri. It's going to kind of slide in and then put the brakes on. So some of us will be a little bit cooler for us tomorrow. Out to the west, not a whole bunch going on until you find this storm system off the Pacific Northwest, and that will start to affect us as we head into the weekend. Until then, we look pretty good. For us tonight, that little front kind of starts to slide in, temperatures into the mid 40s. We'll see a few clouds with it. So as we go into tomorrow afternoon, the front really kind of slides to the I-44 corridor. So you can see upper 60s, northern counties, still mid 70s, southern counties. I think most of us overall will still go into the 70s. 44 to start, 71 by noon, high temp right around 76 as we go into the afternoon hours. Tomorrow night, front starts to lift back toward the north. We get southerly winds returning, but we do get a lot of clouds start to increase as we go through the overnight hours and then into the daytime hours on Friday, but still we're going to be near 70 by the time we head into Friday afternoon. Clouds stick around Friday night into Saturday morning, and then we'll start to see some chances for showers and thunderstorms popping up as we go through the daytime hours on Saturday. These are going to be very hit and miss, so I'm going to keep the chances kind of low because it's not going to be very widespread. But some of those that do pop up could be decently strong. I think the better chance for severe thunderstorms stay to our northern parts of Missouri, even into central parts of Iowa. As we go into Saturday night, our front slips through and then kind of hangs out in our southern counties, kind of lifts back toward the north a little bit by Sunday afternoon, but with it we get rain that really spreads in, showers, thunderstorms. Could have a few stronger storms, but unlike Saturday, I think most of the severe weather will stay to our south on Sunday. 75 for us tomorrow, 70 on Friday, 72 on Saturday, and then 58 by Sunday. So cooling down significantly early next week, but actually back to kind of where we should be.
Yeah, still not too bad. And boy, gotta love these 70-degree plus
temperatures.
Yeah,
it's pretty nice out there.
You bet. Thanks, Doug. Coming up, the Federal Reserve's plan concerning interest rates. First, though, we honor a local veteran. George Thompson served in the U.S. Navy from 1942 to 46. Joplin native was stationed in the South Pacific. And we salute pharmacist mate, 3rd class George Thompson, a 4-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the U.S. private sector added a better than expected 475,000 jobs last month. That's according to a report by payrolls processing firm ADP. The firm also made a dramatic revision to its January report, saying instead of losing 301,000 jobs, companies actually added 509,000 jobs. The vast majority of the February hiring was done by large companies, and the leisure and hospitality sector had the largest gains. With inflation at its highest level in 4 decades, the head of the U.S. Central Bank says the Fed plans to begin raising interest rates a quarter point this month, but cautions the war in Ukraine has created economic uncertainty. Naomi Ruckham reports from Wall Street.
Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell told lawmakers on Capitol Hill the Federal Reserve still plans to begin a series of interest rate hikes this month as it tries to rein in soaring inflation.
Inflation is too high. We understand that, and we're working on it.
Powell's testimony comes as the national average for a gallon of gas is nearly $1 more than it was last year, according to AAA. Recent federal data shows used car prices are up more than 40%. Eggs are 13% higher, and electricity is up almost 11%.
What we're facing now is, though, an elevated level of demand in the face of supply-side constraints, and it's the collision of those two things that's creating inflation.
Mr. Powell also said the Fed will be closely monitoring the crisis in Ukraine and will proceed carefully.
The near-term effects on the U.S. economy of the invasion of Ukraine, the ongoing war, with sanctions, and of events yet to come remain highly uncertain.
If the war in Ukraine continues and oil prices remain high, the Fed may have to raise rates more quickly.
CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says the Fed is walking a fine line.
If they don't raise rates quickly enough, then inflation can continue to rise. And conversely, if they really start raising rates too quickly, then they risk really puncturing the hole in this beautiful economy.
The rate hike is expected in 2 weeks at the next Fed meeting. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
In his State of the Union address, President Biden acknowledged inflation is robbing Americans of gains they thought they would feel from higher wages and record job growth. More baby formula is pulled from the shelves for possible contamination. It's another form of Abbott Nutrition's powdered baby formula. The most recent Similac PM6040 is pulled from the shelves for possible bacteria and salmonella contamination. This additional recall comes after health officials say a child died after consuming the product, possibly because of an infection linked to the formula. After the product's first recall last month, Abbott said its facilities tested negative for pathogens. Fitbit is recalling about 1 million of its smartwatches in the U.S. because they could burn users. The recall impacts 4 models of Fitbit's iconic smartwatches. The Consumer Product Safety Commission states the lithium-ion battery inside the watch can overheat. The agency says Fitbit has already received at least 115 reports in the U.S. about the devices. The watches were sold nationwide in stores and online between September of 2017 and December of 2021. Our Pet Vet on Call next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, stories from Ukraine of civilians standing up to Russian troops. Then on KOAM News at 6, a bill in Missouri that would ban trans women from competing in women's sports. Plus, we're going to have more on a local car dealership accepting cryptocurrency as payment. And it's opening day for the MIAA basketball tournament. We're going to have the highlights from the day's action. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Well, you've heard the saying, you get what you pay for, but does that always hold true? Today's question for our Pet Vet on Call: are high-priced dog foods better than the cheaper brands?
Almost always yes, because the better ingredients cost more. However, even though some dog foods do have high quality ingredients, they also add a lot of minerals to make the bulk so they can sell it cheaper. And other dog foods may be completely filled with good quality ingredients, but that could have an adverse reaction in your pet. So that can cause problems also. Take your dog to the vet, and you and your veterinarian know your dog the best. The two of you can decide which meal plan is the best and healthiest for your dog.
We invite questions from anyone. If you have one, you just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question every Wednesday on KOAM News at 5. Now let's check out our picks of the litter for the week. From the Joplin Humane Society, we have Shiloh, an adult female shepherd mix. And from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, we have this 3-year-old male domestic short-haired cat named Mr. Peaches. Not just Peaches, this is Mr. Peaches. If you're looking for a pet, why not check out your local Humane Society? A nice evening, Doug, to take the pet out.
Yeah, looks great. Temperatures are dropping back through the 70s. We are going to get it chilly again tonight. Mid-40s for overnight low, 75 for us tomorrow, 70 on Friday. Rain chances entering the forecast by the weekend.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.